This is our daily driver. And to be honest, it's seen its fair share of neglect. And after being driven in the snow, rain, slush, or sunshine, there's quite a few things that over time needs to be addressed.
Like the flex pipe, the brakes, the rust that's all over the place, plus the wheels are curved and chipping.
Obviously, the most urgent problem is to solve the braking issue. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today. Not only am I going to replace the brakes on the Mazda 3, but I'm also going to be upgrading them at the same time. I got a set of CX-9 calipers for the front and a set of rear Mazda CX-5 calipers for the back. I literally have a trunk full of parts to install on the car. So the most important part before even starting your brake upgrade is to paint the calipers. With painted calipers, you get the best performance and you also get the best braking clamping force down. Typically, I'd recommend some red caliper paint because you get the best performance out of the red paint. But for today, we'll be settling with some blue paint, which is still going to give me some performance, but not as much as a red caliper paint.
The things you learn on the internet. Anyways, I first disassemble the calipers and clean them so that they're ready for paint.
So for the actual paint, I'm going to be using some metal cast base paint and then, like I mentioned earlier, some blue paint. I think it gives this really nice metallic look. And then to seal it off, I'm going to be using some 2K clear coat. You got to be careful with these because you really have to wear some PPE because it is really toxic. So I'm hoping that with the 2K clear coat, the paint job is going to last. Because I find like even with specialized caliper paint that I've used in the past over a few years, they tend to wear out. They get chipped from like rocks down the road and whatnot. So I'm hoping using this that the paint job is going to last a lot longer.
I am finally getting to installing the actual calipers. They're all painted and the wheels are nice and painted too. For you guys, it's probably the next shot. This car has actually been sitting here for a few weeks now, so I've just been crazy busy. So finally getting to it is really nice, honestly. So I'm gonna start with the CX-9 calipers in the front, and I'm excited to see how big the brakes are gonna look on this car because the rotors are pretty big. So I'm installing the second side of the caliper, and I just realized that the caliper was touching right here on the other side, and that's because the rotors are actually thicker and the spacing is not exactly the same as the Mazda 3 bracket. So what I did, I just used some 2 washers on each side just to space it out and to have like an even spacing. That way the rotor can move freely. I'll have to do that on the other side because, as you can see, it's touching it on this side, and there's a bigger gap on this side. So when you're doing this, you just need to add spacers at the back in between the caliper bracket and the knuckle, just to push out the caliper a little bit. I would say it's probably about, I don't know, like 2 millimeters or something.
So finally, the brakes are all installed, the wheels are back on the car, and it's driving. So my first impression with the brakes, of course, coming from what they were beforehand, they were completely shot. So of course, going from that to the current brake setup, it was a world of a difference. I do have to say that this car is the better braking car that I currently own. So I do feel that the brake pedal and the brake feel of the car is even better than my blue car with the Mazda Speed front brakes and the Mazda 5 rear brake. Having a larger diameter rotor does increase the braking power of the braking system. So I would say that even if the brakes weren't done, I would think that this is a really nice upgrade. I also saw on some group forums about the rear brakes. I saw someone that I think installed a rear CX9 brake caliper also instead of a CX5, but using a CX5 brake rotor so that the brake pad would cover more of the rotor surface. Now, I can't say for sure exactly how that specific mod works, but it's kind of cool that there's option and that parts are pretty much cross-platform and pretty much bolt-on. So one thing that I did notice is when I came to install my winter tires, unfortunately, since they were 16-inch for the winter tires, it doesn't clear the calipers for the CX9 brake calipers. Fortunately enough, I did have a set of 17-inch that I was using for my Mazda 5 for my winter tires, so I just swapped them out. It's just something to keep in mind if you're thinking of this upgrade. 16-inch wheels don't work with the front brake calipers. But overall, I'm really happy with the end result. I love how the Mazda Speed wheels contrast with the paint and the nice blue calipers that pop. So that's it for this episode today, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.